What we also need is funding for additional funding for nonprofit organizations and non-government organizations that set up to help the fluoroquinolone community in one way or another, whether it's just to help people who have been injured with their household costs immediately, or whether it's to take care of people who have been most horribly harmed, and so on and so forth. We just need support for other organizations and stuff. This is going to take the massive, sweeping government programs to take care of the huge numbers of people who've been harmed by this. This is going to be front page news for years and years to come. A massive story. At the time, it's just a few people here, a little rally in front of Queen's Park, but I anticipate, you know, tens of thousands of people at these rallies in the future, because there'll be so many people and the needs will be so dramatic. In fact, we need to educate people about the possible damage that these drugs and other drugs can do to people. We need to educate children and high school students how to be responsible consumers of healthcare. We need to be honest with the kids and with people that a lot of the drugs that are available can harm them, and the doctors are working in a paradigm where it's their function to match a set of symptoms to a set of possible chemicals that come from the big pharma. They don't do much with nutrition or sunshine or exercise or what we call alternative medical care, which may have been around 3,500 years, Chinese medical care. They call that alternative medical care and pretend that somehow the petrochemical medical care that they've had for 125 years is mainstream or something, and it's not. It's a failure. And so we need to have the police and paramedics trained as well to recognize the possible signs of people who might be suffering from delusion and fluoroquinolone toxicity and other drugs. Again, some of these things are more focused on general improvements to the healthcare system than simply focusing on this one specific drug, because this is a symptom of a much larger problem, an overconfidence in the petrochemical medical care model and a complete lack of recognition of the problems that it's causing, and the very common occurrence of toxic reactions to drugs, whether it's Tylenol wrecking people's livers and so on and so forth. We're finding out more and more people who have been harmed by drugs, and we're finding out drugs that they thought were safe and everything was good, safe as Tylenol. It's like this stuff's toxic and dangerous. And so we also need to set up a program that contacts the people who are relatives of those who have been damaged by these drugs, because there's a genetic component. And for example, my sister is here filming me. She has also been harmed by these antibiotics, and that's the way it is. In our groups, we have many brother, sister, parent, child combinations, and we need a program in place to track and contact people who are relatives of people who have been damaged, to see if they've been damaged, to come up with that information into our data, but also to help those people. There's a lot of people who need a lot of help. They're going to need a lot of help. This is going to cost a lot of money, huge amounts of money, massive amounts of money. And the long-term goals, like I'm talking about, I'm standing here at the top of University Avenue at Queen's Park, looking down at Toronto General Hospital and the Cancer Center. So we need a big building like that here in Toronto, focusing just on the harm to people from fluoroquinolones. That's how big this problem is, and that's what it's going to take to address it. We're going to have people that are very sick for a very long time, and it's going to be a multi-generation problem. We need to come back here for 20 years and meet and do these rallies for 20 years or more. So we need to just basically shift the whole paradigm and be honest about the fact that the petrochemical medical industry is harming people like this, and we have to be honest about the fact that there are a lot of these supposed alternative treatments are what the people who have been harmed by big pharma actually need. the paradigm where we go in damaged by these drugs and the doctors deny it was the drugs and their only option for us is to take more drugs, that has to stop. That's where we're at, and that's what we're doing, fighting on a short-term basis for recognition of this problem and on a long-term basis for a large-scale